During the 2018 offseason, the Flying Squirrels hosted here at the Diamond the RVA Street Art Festival, a festival that transformed some of the blank canvases here at the ballpark into murals and beautiful paintings. And it also got us thinking here on Flying Squirrels Insider, what, if any, is the connection between the art world and the athletic world? Well, Ron, it's fitting that we're having this conversation here in front of one of our murals that were painted this offseason. How cool is it that the Diamond was kind of rebranded this way, huh?
I love that this happened. I know a couple of the guys that did some of the murals, and to me, like, it speaks to kind of what we're doing anyways.
So, what is the abstract athlete?
It's kind of a hard thing to define. My business partner, Chris, and I, we were both high-level athletes growing up. I played baseball, could have been drafted. He played soccer. But now we're daily creative practitioners. And so we started talking about, like how it benefits us mentally. So we started researching other athletes that are creative and found like more than I think we anticipated, and started going from there and started reaching out and trying to contact them. And it goes back to inspiring, it goes back to talking about mental health, talking about how creativity benefits us. And it's hard, it's a really hard thing to kind of quantify, because it's there's a lot of pieces to the tree.
How does the abstract athlete, how do you connect with athletes that have a creative side?
Research and finding that. I mean, it's easier said than done. Actually, I got Brett Tomko, who did this painting.
This is
the
Jackie
shirt.
Robinson on the shirt, right?
Yeah, and I contacted him through Instagram, and he responded. But with Vernon Davis, for instance, we had to go through a back channel to get to his agent, and then got to know him. Somebody we work with, Percy King, who is a football player from Ohio State now. Since I played sports at Ohio State, I was able to connect with somebody that got me connected to him. But everybody's different. And then hopefully, a lot of the athletes we're working with are going to hopefully connect us with other athletes.
Well, before we get to some of the VCU guys that are also part of Abstract Athlete, you mentioned Vernon Davis. And I think a lot of people at home would know that name. I mean, he played extensively over a decade in the NFL, one of the best tight ends
He's here right now.
of a generation. What is his involvement and what type of art
He's a painter.
Does he create?
He's a painter, and he wants to actually get into acting too. He did an interview when we had an exhibition here with his work at 1708 Gallery, and he did an interview on one of the local stations, and him talking about how creativity has really benefited him. And to us, to Chris and I, there's the inspiration. If you have this big 6'4" athlete that you look at, and the stereotype is well, he can't be creative, but he talks about creativity. You knock down all the society walls that people want to build up, and that's awesome.
Now, you mentioned VCU. I know somebody actually that bought a piece from Justin Tillman last year. Obviously, one of the star players.
Class.
Okay, great. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those guys that have,
have
an artistic angle?
No, some of the local guys, Justin Tillman, for instance. Johnny Williams was actually in my class as well. And we're also working with Larry Sanders, who
formerly VCU, played in the NBA. Do you remember what some of the pieces were that Justin Tillman and Johnny Williams created?
Justin is super talented painter and drawer. He wants to do that. He actually is creating his own fashion line. So he was invested from the beginning. Johnny actually is a poet. So he did a couple performance type pieces with one of the other basketball guys in my class.
What advice would you give for someone who's kind of stretched between they want to be an athlete, and that takes a lot of time, and obviously want to be someone that's an artist or creative, that takes up a lot of your time as well. What advice do you guys give someone who might be going through those pains?
I mean, it's interesting because like I said earlier, I think things are changing in terms of how people view athletes, how people view artists. They can be they can be both. And one of the things we talk about, I think, a lot is we talk about exercising the body, but we don't talk about exercising the mind. So creativity is such an important, great way to do that.
Well, I'll let you know, we have a lot more concrete that we can cover here at the Diamond. So next year we want to get some of your athletes involved and see if we can get them to create
I think that'd be awesome.
Like
to have a Vernon Davis piece
here,
a Larry Sanders, absolutely.
All right, Ron, thanks so much.